prosecutor. We've got Brett Tolman, former U.S. attorney. We've got Andy McCarthy, the former assistant U.S. attorney, Fox News contributor. I don't know if there's a delay when Nate Boyd tells us, that the judge is meeting with them from the time that they requested to go back to the courtroom and hear all of this. Doesn't seem like a great length of time. But, Brett, what do you make of all of this?
Neil, I'm a little surprised that they're being dismissed. Most jurors want to get a case behind them. What I think it tells us is they're in for a much longer deliberation. And that they don't have the optimism that they could reach the verdict this evening. So they probably sent the signal. There is probably, 9 out of 10 times when a note comes out and they're requesting a transcript, it's a difference of opinion on the recollection of what a witness stated. So not surprising, very typical. I think we'll see more notes. We'll see more interaction with the jury. But I think it means we're in for a much longer deliberation.
Brett, I'm just wondering about what we glean from the first day of jury deliberation. I know in the case of former Labor Secretary Ray Donovan, of course, he faced more than a dozen counts of misappropriating funds and malfeasance and all that going back to the Reagan years. That was expected to last a long, long time. I believe the jury back then, I'm going back to 1987, I believe, it deliberated for all of 10 hours, and that was over 2 days. Night and day, I grant you, but is that in keeping with what you think this could be longer? What do you think?
Yeah, I think, my longest jury deliberation lasted for about 4 days. And at that time, I really felt like it was more a desperation of wanting to get back to their normal life than it was their ability to continue, their stamina to continue. I think there's certainly an increase in the importance of this case in the minds of the jury. They have a chairman or a four-person or a four-woman, and I think they're gonna plow this very difficult case in a methodical way until they really have neither the patience nor the stamina to finish. And when that is, who knows?
Andy, I keep mentioning the Raymond Donovan case, not just because I covered it as a young reporter at the time, but I thought it was interesting that everyone thought it would go a certain way, or that the former secretary would be indicted on something, because there's certainly a number of counts against him that made that look inevitable. Everyone was caught with egg on their face. It didn't happen that way. Further, nor was it expected that the jury would wrap up essentially in 2 days and come up exonerating all the players. Now, maybe going back then, it had something to do with the clarity of the charges. They weren't vague or, off-putting. Those were charges on fraud, grand larceny, the kind of stuff that's easily definable. Here, it's not. But let me get your thoughts on that, Brett. When you see or you hear a jury come back and requesting certain testimony, certain clarifications, a judge's instructions over again, people jump and try to read into that so much, myself included. But you guys are the experts, so I'll first go to you on this. Do you read any significance into the material they're looking for today?
I think they're just getting started. I think you nailed it when you said that they're starting from the beginning. There's probably some discussion and some disagreement on what was said by the witnesses they've asked about. And then it is very standard for jurors to ask for the law, to be able to look at it, refer to it. I've seen judges hand them all of the law that was read to them so that they could reference it. I've seen them give them full transcripts. Not surprising, they can come out either way. But what you have is a jury, I think, at this point that is, as you indicated, they're dealing with a messy case. This is not discrete. It's not fine. It's not been proven. It is the exact case that a directed verdict was intended for, where you don't have the defendant on notice of what the underlying crime is, and then you can't instruct the jury on which crime they are to assess unanimously, and instead you have this messy case that's been presented, and then it's been made worse by the law that's been instructed. So this is an impossible situation for these juries. I feel for them. It's a fatal flaw what the judge has allowed and what he's done in this case, and I expect that it'll be reversed fairly quickly.
I jokingly, not too jokingly, mentioned the Henry Fonda case in 12 Angry Men, the movie, and off the book and all. But one of the things that stood out then is there was that one juror who just wasn't convinced. Different case, different type of thing. I grant you.